Okay. All right. Hey, we are now I'm recording. So everyone, my name is Philip. I go by Phil Coop Productions, and I'm back with another episode of the conversation. So today I have a very special guest for me. Her name is Gianna Russo, a talented photographer, filmmaker, and FAA certified drone pilot, if I got that correct.
Yes.
So yeah, nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thanks. So I just want to go ahead and get into let's go ahead and get it started. I have four sections. There's 5 questions each. So pretty much that's over 20 questions.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
So hey, the more questions, the better this will be.
Perfect.
So all right, so let's go ahead and get this thing started. So section 1, background and SCAD journey. What drew you to photography, and how did that passion evolve into studying at SCAD?
Yeah, so I started my journey in photography when I was about 16 years old. I wanted to be a YouTuber when I was younger, and I wasn't really familiar with camera gear or camera equipment, and so I kind of made a run on Black Friday, and I was like, I'm gonna get a camera, it's on sale. And so I ended up getting the camera, had no idea how to use it, was thinking I was gonna use it for video, and just ended up taking pictures kind of randomly in my room and then of my friends. And once I kind of started to learn a little bit more, I was like, oh, this is really fun. And I had a really good response from a lot of my friends. So and that kind of evolved into more of my friends wanting their pictures taken and doing photo shoots. So I was like, okay, like I really enjoy this and I'm getting a lot of information off of line, but I wanted to kind of continue to learn. So I reached out to a local studio. I'm from Ohio. I'm from a small town in Ohio. So I reached out to a lady, Michelle Oscano, who had a business in our local mall. And I was like, do you want to, do you have opportunities for internships or whatnot? And, I went in, worked with her for a while, and then ended up working there throughout high school. And then obviously COVID hit. So that industry kind of fell apart a little bit. And, I had knew that I wanted to go to SCAD. We had a representative come into one of my high school classes. And, when COVID hit, I thought, oh, it's not going to happen, and ended up working in manufacturing for a while. And, kind of after COVID started to settle, I reapplied and got accepted and came here in 22. And since then, it's like completely exponentially changed the course of my career and changed the course of my work. I kind of focused on portraiture, and then I still had a passion for videography and cinematography. So as different work opportunities would arise, I did real estate for a while, just for work. And, that was where the drone certification come in. And it's just like it's completely morphed and changed over the last 4 years. I started in 2022 and I should graduate by next spring. So yeah, it's been a really wonderful opportunity. And obviously being from Ohio and then coming to Savannah, Savannah is just beautiful and we have so much opportunity and access here with SCAD. So I think it's been a really, really incredible journey so far. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen now that I should be graduating soon.
I can tell. I know it's been a rough journey, because I know when I saw your photos, I was like, she really has a passion for all this stuff.
I do.
I knew, because you said that you started at 16. I was like, yep, that's where it all started for her. She wanted to, she liked the art and how all these photos are being taken. She wants to expand more, because pretty much with a lot of like media and photography these days, like it's a big universe out there.
It
So
is.
you just need to know where you need to start looking.
Yeah, for sure. And I knew that coming to SCAD, I wasn't actually as, we'll say, enthralled by the educational aspects. I think for me, it was knowing that I was going to have access to networking, to equipment, and then just locationally, my industry, we're from the Rust Belt. That entire industry kind of collapsed. And especially with COVID, like we watched a lot of mom and pop businesses kind of fall apart. And I knew that if I was going to start a business economically, it wasn't really a very fruitful environment for me there. So it's definitely been a massive change since coming here. There's just more access, even for people like me and you, just more access to the right people for this type of industry here.
Definitely. And lately, I I tried to do the whole photography thing, but I just, after something happened in April this year, I just couldn't. I just had to put it back on the shelf. So
Yeah.
I picked this up. So it's been going great. I mean, sometimes we feel mentally challenged. Like there's challenges everywhere. Like I know some people just feel like this is what I want to do. Let's try to move on to the next thing, and so on
Mhm.
and so on
Mm.
until you get like a certain niche in life.
Yes.
So
Understood.
I just kind of figured, I'm used to all this, like having these kind of conversations, talking to people who have their own life experiences, what challenges they had to go through. Because I know there was some kind of, tough and traumatic events that took place, and
Yeah.
just want to sit back and understand.
Yeah, no, completely, completely. Yeah, no, I get it. I think most of us can probably attest to the challenges of, we'll say, just childhood and growing up, and life is not easy. I think for me, my passion has developed out, I think, initially as like an escape for a lot of things, and I think a lot of artists could probably say the same. And I think for me, it became something more than that at some point for me, where I realized how fulfilled I was in so many other ways, even just in community. I've met more people. I've had the privilege of meeting more people, and I've had the privilege of seeing more things of the world through this than any other thing that I've really gotten myself involved with. So I definitely think that's the beauty of it, is although I think a lot of us maybe start in that avenue as a way to just kind of step back from the chaos of life, I think this has now developed into something that has actually created my current life. And I'm really I'm so privileged, and I'm so lucky, and I'm so happy to be where I'm at. So I definitely understand.
True. It's true. Next question. What has been your favorite class or project at SCAD so far?
Oh no, that's so challenging. So SCAD works on a 3-class 10-week quarter system. So 3 classes is considered like a full-time schedule. I have to say right now, probably my film classes, just because when I came here, I did have I had a pretty significant amount of experience previous. Like I had worked in studios already, and I had used a lot of this equipment already, where maybe some of my peers in my classes, I was a little older because I took a gap because of COVID. So I came here and turned 21 in our freshman dorms, and a lot of my peers were a little younger, maybe a little less experienced, where I had been working in the industry for years at that point. So I think the film classes, because they've been the most, we'll say, challenging. And I felt like I was stepping into a world I really was unfamiliar into. So my current film classes, I definitely have to say, are my favorite. So I'm going for a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Commercial Photography, but they entered in a cinematography minor halfway through my degree. And so I was like, oh no, that's 100% what I'm going to go do. So yeah, that's been my favorite thing so far.
Okay. So most likely into like not like big movies or anything, just something like simple like short films.
Well, I mean, it could be a pipe dream. I might as well, you know what I mean? Why not?
Okay.
Shoot for the stars. And if I miss, I land on the moon, right? So, just the opportunity to say that I have the experience with these big film cameras. I mean, that's what we're using. We're using Red Komodos and, the other larger cameras and whatnot. I don't know. It's not something I would be disappointed if I didn't do, but I have really found that I enjoy the storytelling aspect of film, where I didn't feel like that when I did photo. It was very commercialized. In my head, it was my job. It was a way to make money. Like it was a way to still connect with people, but I wasn't really trying to tell a story. I was taking pictures of commercial products for large brands, or I'm taking, personalized family photos. It was almost more documentary in a way. I didn't feel that I had as much freedom with it, or maybe as much interest in trying to tell a story through that. So I don't know. I'm kind of just here for the ride, and what comes of it comes of it. And I'm just going to keep doing what I enjoy and try to keep it sustainable for me as long as possible. And who knows, right? I'm young still. I'm only 24. So whatever happens, I'm not mad. I'm happy enough where I'm at now, right? So like if this is as far as I ever got, I'd be enthralled. So
It's okay, don't forget. And I listen, I said this before my previous episode with the previous person. I kept telling her it's okay to enjoy those small moments in
oh
life.
yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
the big moments is just, it's just all noise. Like, I told her, because I also told her, like, hey, like this Friday this Friday I am planning to come downtown to Savannah just to
Yeah.
go out for ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was going to try Leopold's next.
Oh
So
gosh, well, you better get there early because that line is going to be out the door.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't forget. Just you don't have to rush. I think where you are, you in scan filmmaking, like it's okay. Listen, you are in no rush.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just take your time just trying to figure things out. I'm still trying to figure things out. I went back to school and now I'm about to be doing my cybersecurity program. Like I
Yeah.
already got one certificate in PC repair and network technician.
Wow. That's incredible. That's
So
awesome.
it's
Yeah.
not there's more on the way. And I already did my 4 years of college, graduated with a bachelor's in digital media production and journalism. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
have
I
to
just
agree. I think more people should enjoy the journey and not the destination because I feel like we get so caught up in the where we're going that we kind of forget that we're actually actively living. Like sometimes I do have to slow down and remind myself, and that might be a little bit to do with the just the speed of life today, especially with online and just trying to keep up in industry in general, especially considering we're in a tech-based industry. I think it can be very challenging to feel like you're getting behind. And for me, like even just marketing online, like that's a massive part of me actually saying, hey, like I'm doing all this work and like I do feel like I have talents in X, Y, and Z. But then if I'm not keeping up with the speed of keeping myself relevant or whatever, it's like that can become really taxing. And I think it can take away from the actual enjoyment of what I'm doing. So it's definitely something I've had a hard time balancing while I'm in school. It's something that, they push us to constantly create and constantly share. And it's like, although I understand why they are saying that, I don't actually think it is as beneficial to, like you said, the journey. It's like we're so concerned and caught up with so where are you going to be when, what job are you going to have when you graduate? It's like, but I'm already like in it and I'm already enjoying it. So yeah, I have to agree. And I'm trying to slow down a little bit. I will say, as I'm getting a little older and I'm getting to my senior year, whether I want to slow down or not, I don't have much of a choice.
yeah, I fully understand. Same thing too. I mean, me back when I was a kid, just turned 25 this month.
Yeah.
So
Well, happy
I'm
birthday.
starting to, huh?
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we're just all at a certain point. I mean, us as young adults. I mean, I'm still, even though I'm still young, I'm still getting older and wiser and being more aware and
Mm-hmm.
just concerned about what's coming up in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the question we always have to ask ourselves: how can we be ready for what comes next?
Oh, I don't even if I had an answer for that. When you figure it out, let me know.
I got you. I got you. How has the SCAD environment and creative community shaped your growth as an artist?
Oh, that's a really great question. These are phenomenal questions, by the way. I really have to say. Um,
Thanks.
yeah, I think it has been a bit of a challenge for me just because it was like getting dropped into the ether. Like this has been a very different environment, especially my work environment previous coming to SCAD was definitely quite different, I'm sure, than some of my peers experience and we'll just say life coming here. So it was a bit challenging at first to get adjusted to it. I think age maybe played a big role in that, just life experiences. But I think it shaped me in a way that it allowed me to open my eyes to just different things in life that I wouldn't have maybe had the opportunity or experience. I think culturally, it's been a blessing to have access to so many people of different ethnicities and religions and languages and cultures. And that to me was like, I haven't had the opportunity to leave the country or really see, I think, a lot of the beauty of our own country. And, it was like getting dropped into a pool full of that where it kind of came to me in that way. So I think it more shaped me, which obviously is going to shape the work that I'm creating, but me as a person has grown so much through this opportunity. When you're from a small town and kind of this one track mindset of, or just experiences or, thoughts, I think coming here has allowed me to kind of shift and navigate and just better shape me as a well-rounded individual. And I think it's definitely been something that has shown in my work because, I think we as people should always be in a position of learning. I keep telling everybody this point in my life has been me being the most student I ever have, not just in a college setting, but as a individual. I've been the most open to critique. I've been the most excited about learning about the world. And, yeah, I think it's been the most humbling experience, but the most exciting experience.
That's nice. And listen, I know with SCAD thing is I used to go to like a summer program back in 2018, but now that I went to college and finished everything else, I really can't go on our campus because I do want to understand more about you guys. But I think, going around downtown and asking questions is the best way to do it. Thing is, there's a lot of diverse people coming to these SCAD facilities like
Mhm.
every year. So I do want to take the time to understand like their culture, how they did stuff. Because
Mhm.
can I tell you something?
Oh, please, always.
I did an assignment in my humanities class. Yes, it was during when I was at Savannah Tech. It was a humanities class. They were talking about something about how women are being like treated badly, or I can't remember what it was per se, but
Mhm.
I did give some examples of how women's stories did depict about how they got to where they are today. Now,
Mhm.
one of my examples that I gave to the teacher was I've seen a lot of people, different cultures, who do like a lot of fashion shows,
Mhm.
and sometimes the clothes that they design, because thing is, I heard about SCAD as
Mhm.
fashion show like every year. They have
Mhm.
like particular designs. And it's like, for example, if it's like an Asian woman, they will have like Chinese fabricated clothes or something
Mhm.
that kind of tell a story. And I just never thought of that before. Me, when I was doing pictures, I really wasn't taking the time to understand like what's the context of what I'm trying to show here.
Yes.
Like I need like the exact context. Now it's like now that I'm doing like this freelance journalism, I'm going around and asking people, "Hey, can you explain to me how this works? How does your culture happen so I can understand and get a feeling? Because I want to know. Oh, they do this. That's really fantastic. Like ask certain questions like that so I can have respect out of the culture, and maybe who knows, maybe I might join in one of their events and understand how the whole thing works.
Yeah. No, I think that's fabulous. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I will say that's definitely something too for me that I paid more attention to. I think initially I'm kind of in the same boat. Maybe I wasn't thinking about it. I'm doing couple sessions or family portraits, or it was just not, there wasn't as much of that kind of forethought, I think, involved. So I've definitely, and again, that's definitely been the humbling aspect is watching to the level in which they are really telling a story with their photos. And I think culturally that's another big thing is, we have those students that, work together to culminate imagery that is extremely representative of their culture. And I think it's wonderful, honestly. And like we've seen I would say some of the best work come out, especially in our fashion departments and our fashion programs with a lot of those students. I mean, it's just incredible what they're capable of doing. And, you know, I mean, the imagery itself is stunning, but then you really understand their cultural influences and it just takes it tenfold, you know?
Yeah. And there were a couple of I'm sorry about this. There were a couple of voice actors that I talked to. Some of them are Mexican heritage. There's some who are going to be at this convention called Anime Week in Atlanta. I was going to think is I'm not just another fan of Crown. They're starting to see that I'm not just another person in the line. I actually want to have these conversations with them.
Yeah.
There are a few people who do voice acting who are Vietnamese, Chinese,
Hmm.
Mexican. I spoke to a Mexican voice actor last week because I wanted to understand, like, how they got into all this stuff because I want to know all about their heritage. I want to
Hmm.
know about their heritage. If they got the time to just talk to me or something. But uh, I just want to just ask them those kind of questions so I can understand how they came to doing this kind of amazing stuff.
Yeah, I think it's important too. I think most people identify strongly with their heritage and their culture and their background because that's what makes them them. So I think it's a really wonderful thing that you are diversifying and asking so many different kinds of people. I know for me, even too, again, like I didn't have that experience at home where I even had access to people of that plethora of heritages again, or even like linguistically, like I didn't hear all these different languages when I was walking down the street at home. And you're here in Savannah and you do. So I think that's really wonderful that you have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Why am I getting? I'm getting emotional. Why am I getting emotional?
Mhm.
Sheesh. Sorry. Sometimes when like sensitive times like this, I do start getting emotional.
No, I
So
understand. I get
so
it.
So number four, did you always know you wanted to focus on commercial and fashion photography, or did that develop later?
I think I kind of always knew I was going to go in a commercial route. I especially think just knowing my, also sorry if you can hear the train in the background. I literally, the train tracks are in my backyard, so hopefully that's not too loud. But um, yeah, I think I always knew I wanted it to be commercial simply because I knew if I was going to take the risk of doing anything in an artistic fashion as a career, I knew I needed to make it feasible. And I knew that the only, like, especially watching economically things change at home and knowing that our economic environment for our middle class is constantly going to shift. I knew that if I didn't target corporations and I didn't target larger scale businesses, that it was going to be less likely that I was going to have a genuinely sustainable career for myself, to have the lifestyle and live the way that I want to live. So I initially started with a minor in fashion photography, but I realized quickly my own personal interests, although I enjoy it, I don't think I'm the best suited for that. I don't know that I have some of the same values, or maybe the working environment wasn't something I felt like was as fulfilling to me. It's extremely competitive and we have a lot of very talented people, and I did have my time in it and I do enjoy it, but I don't think fashion necessarily is something that I would find myself in. I am more interested about connecting with people, very much I would assume the same as you. So I think for me, there was a disconnect between personality and kind of more facaded interests. So I think for me, that's why I've really enjoyed film more so, and switched my minor, but also collaboration. There's a lot of collaboration in film. I just think I didn't find myself sat in the right spot, or excuse me, there's a lot of collaboration in fashion as well. But when I was trying to do fashion, I didn't, I didn't enjoy the collaborative experience as much. And so that's kind of where I shifted gears and started doing product stuff, because I was like, oh, like maybe I just need to take a step back and just focus on the technical stuff. And then I was like, okay, well, then I'm just by myself all the time, and that's kind of boring. So film has been a really great entrance into what I would find to be a better community for me of creatives, because there's so many facets of film. You have your audio engineers, you have your sound designers, you have your VFX people, you have composers, you have, people on your camera team, your lighting team, your production design. And there's just so many, it's like it took all these creative things that I enjoyed in my youth and just smashed it into one environment. And so, I still have the visual integrity of the technical skill I have with my camera, but now I can tell a story. I can collaborate with all these other creatives in so many different ways and things that interest me much more than fashion. I was not somebody that, I still can say I have no sense of fashion. So why I even thought I was going to go into fashion is beyond me. But no, I much more enjoy the film for sure.
I think the one thing we can take from this, like you just got to find something that works for you. Like I
Mhm.
understand, like, from what you told me overall, fashion wasn't kind of like what you wanted to do.
I don't think
Basically,
so.
you want to be free from all the noise and
Yes.
everything.
Yes, the
I just
drama.
the drama, the drama. You just want to have like a normal, quiet life and just storytelling, all this. So like me, I tried going down that route when I was in college, but I just after 2 years when I get to now 2025, I just realized this wasn't me.
Yeah.
So I just figured I
Slow
would rather
down. Yeah.
exactly slow
Yeah.
down. I
Yeah.
would rather like I said, life is about the journey. You don't
Mhm.
this like because I talked to somebody before. It was another voice actor saying there are so many people in this world in like video games, TV, movies, commercial that are just in it to be famous.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a sad life, I feel.
It
I
is.
mean, I feel you can gain happiness and fame, I suppose. But he was saying like stuff like voice acting, filming, it's an art. Like I want to have appreciation for the art. Some people go to all these premieres in Los Angeles, California, all those movie premieres, like the world premiere, like it's just noise. After the premiere's over, we're back to our normal lives.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's kind of the complexity too, I think, of today's world in these industries, is that's something that I've really, really struggled with. I have a bit of a challenge with that identity of self, we'll say, you know what I mean? And I really I don't love putting myself out there. I'm actually I'm definitely an introvert. I would prefer to be behind the camera than in front of the camera. That's kind of my joke. I'm good behind the camera because I'm terrible in front of it. But, as I've gotten older, I think because of the nature of things, we almost do have to self-identify and self-brand. And I think there are a lot of negatives, especially if you're in it for the wrong reasons. And I have to agree. I think a lot of people are in it for all the wrong reasons. But there's something kind of special about the fact that we have the opportunity to pay attention to ourselves in that way. And I think as a business owner, the biggest thing that I've learned is, all of your flaws, all of your shortcomings, all of your personal, I guess maybe not personal issues like your private life, but kind of is a reflection of what's going on in your business or just in the work that you're doing if you're trying to showcase and brand yourself. So, it's a really vulnerable experience to say, this is what I'm going to do. And I have to showcase myself and put myself in the spotlight kind of in order to brand to do that. I think it's kind of nice in the sense of it is a job that allows us to be a little bit more aware of those things. And I think for me, it's kind of helped me like, hey, there's certain things that I know I need to kind of work on in myself. And if I don't, then I'm not really going to be comfortable being vulnerable and sharing these aspects about myself in order to promote the work that I love doing. Because at the forefront of all of it, I just love what I do. And, that's been the challenge of my life. And especially in these last few years while attending school and just trying to do the work really is like, okay, now I need to pay attention to myself too, in order to make sure that I'm healthy and I'm happy and I'm taking care of myself in order to showcase and extend kind of the branding. And yeah, it's a fine balance. And, I had an article that I think is coming out later this month with an online publication. And they had asked me is like, what has been like the most, if you had three or four tips for people in this industry, what would it be? And it's like rest, you know what I mean? Like just take a breath and like step back from it for a little. And, I think that has been the most helpful for me in my journey is like, I've stepped away from this industry so many times. I've been in this for almost 10 years and 3 of those years I wasn't even in it, so success doesn't come overnight. I think success is also a definition that is made up by you yourself, and it's what you define as your own success. It doesn't have to be, oh, my name's on headlines and I have articles coming out and whatever. It's like, are you happy in your life? And, are you enjoying your journey? That's like you said, it's like, it's so not about the destination. It's, I think more people should probably pay attention to that because I think they're losing a lot of valuable time thinking too much about that.
Yeah. And I keep telling myself with me doing this podcast, I just tell myself, keep doing what you like. And I'm telling this to people too. Keep doing what makes you happy. Like do what you like doing, but don't lose yourself in it.
Yes. It's easy.
Do what you like doing, but work hard, but also, and I tell people this, but don't forget to live too.
Mm-hmm. It's a fine balance, man. I can tell you I've done it wrong more times than I've done it right. And I'm still just figuring it out. It's like, and I've been doing this for years. So, it's, every day is a new opportunity to try something different and to try again. I think that's also something too. It's like, waking up every single day, you have the opportunity to try again. And if you fail that day, try again the next day. And if it doesn't work out, try again the next day, so I think it's consistency, persistence. I think that's probably the most important thing for sure.
Of course. We're at the end of this section, then we'll be on section 2.
Fabulous. I'm so excited.
What's one piece of advice you give to someone considering SCAD or another art school?
Ooh, okay. I think, to be completely honest, don't expect the school to give you all of, if you're considering SCAD, and I can only speak for SCAD because I don't really understand the nature of some of these other programs. I only chose SCAD simply because I understood the access to, and we genuinely do have a fabulous connection and networks to large corporations. We have equipment access that is just off the wall. Also, keeping up in a tech industry, they're very, very, very quick about making sure that we are, right with the times in our education. And so for that, I think it's a massive benefit. And again, the accessibility and the people that are coming to the school, I think is a massive, massive benefit. However, I have gone through classes for the last 3 years, seeing a lot of people that just anticipate because they are graduating with a degree with the name of SCAD that they're going to get just magically kind of get what they want out of their career. And I don't know that that's necessarily the school kind of overselling the dream, or if it's maybe people's understanding of what the reality of the industry is. So I think for me, if I was going to give one piece of advice to anybody that wanted to go to SCAD, is what you put in is what you get out. We have a crap load of resources. We have a lot of network opportunities. You know, they have public speaking classes and, you know, elevator pitch classes. And, you know, your professors are also such a massive, massive help. And I think some students maybe don't utilize as much of that, maybe are just trying to have a college experience and have fun, which is totally fine. Like that's, you know, you do what you want, but what you put into your degree and what your work is going to show what kind of effort that you put in and what resources you utilize. So I think for me is just consider that if you're going to go to a private art school, that is pretty expensive if you're not going to do anything for scholarships, which I've seen a lot of people do. I applied for scholarships, and I've been awarded scholarships through the school that has covered much of my degree. So, you know, I was walking into it with a little bit of a different kind of circumstance. But, you know, if you're going to take on that kind of financial burden on yourself, you better really be ready to hustle, because, you know, this is not a very secure financial industry. This is not something that you can go in and have maybe quite a bit of debt walking out of and just expect, oh, I'm going to have $100,000 job when I walk out. I was like, this is not how our industry works at all. So I would just say, consider deeply what it is that you want, what kind of financial risk you want to take. And secondly, I would say, don't be afraid to do community courses first, especially because we have gen ed programs and stuff that can be covered, and, you know, utilize your resources with your advisor. I've done a lot of different kind of manipulations and changes to my degree to better suit me and my needs. So, you know, it's worked out in that manner. But, you know, I don't think SCAD is the only place you have to go in order to make, to be completely honest, in this industry, I don't necessarily think that you even need a degree in it. I didn't really come as much for the degree as I did the network and the experience and the environment. So I think it's person dependent, and it's for them to attest to, but I do think those are some things to consider.
Very nice advice. That's very beautiful. I appreciate it. Well, I'm sure somebody who's listening will appreciate that.
Yeah, I have to be honest in that, because I mean it is a private art school, so, you know, take your risk if you want to, but
Gotcha. All right, section 2. We're in section 2 now. Photography and drone work.
oh yeah.
What inspired you to start your own brand, Gianna Russo Photography LLC?
Oh, didn't know what the heck to name it. To be honest, I think I knew I needed an LLC to filter some of my paid work through. I think just organizing my finances made that a lot easier, because I've been doing freelancing for a while, but it just became complicated. And I knew if I was going to start to take on larger scaled projects, larger, you know, kind of corporatized projects, that just organizationally and professionally, it was the most appropriate for me to have that. So, yeah, it was more an organizational thing, and I genuinely still don't. I just didn't know what to call it. I was like, oh, well, this is my name, and I take pictures, so this is what I'm gonna name it, because I didn't have any creative idea of what the heck else to name it.
That's nice. That's nice. Hey, listen, sometimes you have to make sure, don't try to be something that you're not. Like, you know, don't, like, it doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be stupendous.
Yes,
Just
yes.
just keep it plain and simple. Like, you know, like for myself, you know, when I use my username on Instagram, I call myself Phil Coup 2000, because I was born in 2000.
Yeah, yeah.
But after a while with this whole this whole podcast blowing up, I was like, I just had to brainstorm, just think about it for a few days. I thought about it for 3 days, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I really should rename myself and get serious. So that's how I came up with Phil Coup Productions.
Yeah, and
Just
that's smart, honestly. I kind of limited myself with the photos. Now I'm kind of like, oh crap, what do I do? So I'm sure there'll be a shift again as I continue, but it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, I know it's a little tricky, but I know you just had to make sure because I knew you needed time to brainstorm how
Hmm.
you were going to make this work. Because if
Hmm.
you want people to know your work and who you are, you just got to make sure just make sure you think carefully about how you want to approach this.
Yeah, I have to agree. Oh gosh, now you got me thinking of
Sorry. I'm just adding more, flow to the
No, you're
conversation.
making great points though. Now I'm just like, oh boy. Yeah, because I'm especially with the film and the drone and stuff, I think it's a little limiting right now. But it's one step, like you said, one day at a time. I'm in no rush. I have a portfolio online and I can showcase my work there. That's fine. I'll figure it out one day.
Exactly, exactly. Number 7, do you prefer shooting portraits, products, or commercial projects, and why?
Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh no. That's the worst question because how do I attest to one or the other? I think product has been some of my most successful, and I think that has also been the critique of my peers and my professors, and it's definitely been some of my strongest work. However, with the integration of AI into our industry, I have noticed that that is probably not going to be as feasible for me. Another reason why I've kind of transitioned to film, just because, you know, I mean, even that is going to end up becoming a little bit challenging just because, I mean, we've already seen what Carrie Fisher, they kind of like CGI'd her into the movie after she had passed. And I'm like, oh my God, we're not even going to need actors anymore. Like they're just going to start making, digital copies of everything. So, um,
Insane.
yeah, I know AI has been a really scary kind of premise for us, I think, right now. And I know that our school and my professors are trying to keep up. I mean, I had a whole class on AI and image generation and how to speak to AI and get it to do what you need it to do. And I mean, I'm not, it's so challenging because morally I don't attest or agree with it. And yet I'm in an industry that requires me to keep up with it. In a world that is moving at hyperspeed and I'm not a machine. So I don't think product is something I could fulfill or sustain with the integration of AI. I think portrait is probably where I would want to stay if I was just doing photos, because again, that connection with another individual, and you really can't falsify that. There's something very tangible and real to that. Commercial in general. So commercial photography is kind of like a broad term, I think, and that could encompass both portrait and product. So, I'll stay in the commercial. I don't force, I mean, maybe later in life I'll do fine art. I do film photography as well, and, a large format film. And I enjoy those mediums because they do allow you to slow down. But I think that'll be later in my life that I'll reattest to some fine art stuff. So I'll stick with commercial and it'll probably be portraiture. Um, just kind of whatever comes my way, honestly.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't have everything figured out right off the bat, and I
Mhm.
think you really enjoyed the just like the portraits and products because I've seen some of your Instagram posts. And also, I think she's more of the like modeling the portraits and stuff. Now,
Mhm.
if commercial does come back someday for you, I know you'll figure out how to get back into it. I think
Yeah.
once you put something back on the shelf, like I said, I put photography back on the shelf and pick this up, and
Yeah.
so far, people are liking my conversations with you guys. I feel like, well, I guess I better keep doing it. Now,
Yeah.
photography may come back one day. It's just, lately, what happened was, like sometimes, I have a few trust issues with the models. Like they don't trust me. So I was like, I don't want to be in there and be puffing all that smoke. So
No,
I had
I
to get out,
understand.
had to get out of the burning house and
Mhm.
just find something else to do.
Yeah, no, I understand. I do.
So it's tricky, but we always find a way.
Yeah. One step at a time. It is what it is, and one step at a time has been my new motto for a while. So,
Yeah. Can you share a favorite photo shoot experience that pushed you I'm sorry, creatively?
yeah. Probably I had a large set for, I did the Corona. I did a Corona kind of mock branding shoot. It was like a GIF or a GIF or however you say it. And that was a pain for me. It was definitely the biggest challenge because I had incorporated more environmental factors into the shoot than I had done previously. We had little fluffy clouds hanging in the background and sand and shells. And then, my hand, the model that was, modeling their hand for it had to like very meticulously move in order to get all that. So that was probably my most challenging, just, trying to situate all of our lighting in that environment and then like all the props and whatnot. But I really enjoyed it. I actually really enjoy large sets. I just haven't had as much opportunity to continue photographing large sets just circumstantially. So, yeah.
Hmm. That must have pushed you past your limits, because I know you had to pull up all the stops with that at Chronoprize. If you have a picture of it, I could take a look at it myself, see what it looks
Yeah,
like.
yeah. It's on my Instagram. I don't know if they're or my website or whatnot, but yeah, hold on, let me see. I don't know. Let
Yeah,
me check.
take your time. But yeah, but while you're doing that, but yeah, I figured, with a project like that, I know she had to like spend hours, because I know most artists would rather spend like late hours trying to make sure it's perfect.
I did too. I had to edit every single individual photo that was in the GIF and take out certain things. And there was about 20, 30 pictures in total for the GIF, for stop
Wow.
motion, if you will. So I was like, oh gosh, so I like sent it over
Yeah,
to your site. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
that's amazing. I'm looking at it
Thank you.
now. That
Thank you.
I was like, she did an amazing job.
Thank
Shame
you.
on them if they didn't give you any awards.
I know. They did share it though. That's kind of been
Okay.
the benefit, of kind of doing some of the products was getting to share the work and them reposting it, which was really cool. I think one of the ones that reposted was Dr. Squatch got in contact with me after I posted some of their product work, and they were really excited. And I actually had another company, Billy Body Wash. Billy is like a sister brand to like Banana Boat and all them, and Chic razors and all that. And they were trying
Okay.
to buy the work off of me or like get the work off of me. So I was like, oh, this is so cool. So it's been a good opportunity to work with those brands in that sense, because it got me quite a bit of notoriety.
Nice, nice. All right, number 9. Here we go. The question we've been waiting for. How has becoming an FAA certified drone pilot expanded your creative work? Because I know I was like, if she's going to be doing shots from the ground, from above, she might need a drone.
Yeah. Honestly, it literally opened up the sky for me. So it was a super challenging test to get through, to be honest. You don't really need an FAA license to fly if you're just doing it hobby wise. There's like a certain weight limit that you have to stay under in the drone that you're flying in order to not have a license. But I was doing it for paid purposes, and my business was a contractor for a larger company. So I had to make sure that I had the licensing, or obviously I can get in quite a bit of trouble. So if you're doing it for paid work, it's advised. But it was a very challenging test. I mean, it's a mini pilot's test, pretty much. It's like the intro part to a proper pilot's test. A friend of mine from back home is a pilot, and actually is the one that sent me like, "Hey, here's the information that you need to use in order to get through it." And I mean, it's crazy. You have to read like the maps, that they would have to read, and you have to understand METAR reports, which is like weather reports, in shorthand, and there's a lot of logistic kind of things, kind of similar to a driver's test, but like a little bit more complicated. So I ended up taking my test. It took me like a few hours or whatever. And it was hard. It was really hard, but we made it through, and now I have it, and I just have to renew it every so often. But I love it. And I think it's opened up more opportunities for me, especially in videography. If I'm advertising a restaurant, if I'm taking picture of or if I'm doing any sort of advertisement for homes, obviously it's really beneficial. And then now with film and short film, it's just, I mean, it's beautiful to see what kind of shots I can get from the sky. And I really think it helps tell more of a story. So
Yeah, because I know with you trying to do professional photography, you need all the tools that you in your toolbox.
yes.
So like, you have to be serious about because I know like if you're being serious about doing photography, make sure you have all the stuff that you need. like with me, like me doing, all these like these podcast episodes, I was like, I'm being very serious about it. I had to go to Best Buy and make
Hmm.
some technology runs. I got like a lot of microphones. I got a GoPro camera now,
Yeah.
all that stuff, because I go to conventions and I do talk to people and I want to record my experience. Like if I'm being serious, I want to make sure I have all the stuff I have, so I'll be ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No,
most
I get it.
yeah, this microphone I'm using now is mostly for like sit down at home interviews because I don't want to be dealing with all those cables while walking around.
No,
But the
no.
DJI microphones, it's easy because there's no cables and just like mini microphones that I can just carry with me on the go. So basically, switch from at home to on the go stuff,
Hmm.
and it does work. And you can hear me pretty fine with this on. So because it's like
It's
this is the
tiny but
role,
mighty.
huh?
It's tiny but mighty. The
Yeah, it
DJI
is.
microphone.
This is the wire. This is the Rode Wireless Pro. The previous one I have over there is the Wireless Go 2. So
Hmm.
if I'm going to be serious about it, maybe I should get the best one I could. So I got the Wireless Pro, and
Yeah.
this is like one of the top microphones that people are using these days.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
I can tell.
I just had to get it because I want to make sure people can hear me very better and not just leave like sounding like scratchy or I'm echoing because you can tell I'm not echoing. But yeah, mostly with you just want to make sure you had everything in that you had. Basically, you want to make sure you had a lot of stuff that can help your photography grow and expand and nurture and
Yeah.
make it feel like it's something amazing, like a hidden world we've never seen before. Sorry if I'm like geeking out here.
No, no, please. I mean, geek out because I'm a tech nerd. Like anybody that knows me knows I am such a tech nerd when it comes to this. I'm so technical about what I do, and I am an equipment kind of like, I'm fascinated by all the new things, and yeah. So no, I totally understand, and it's been super fun. So I
Yeah.
get it.
So I might go back to using my headphones, but it still sounds like I'm on the call. So
Hmm.
I had to take them off. And plus, sometimes they be having headphones on for too long.
Yeah.
They kind of hurt my ears.
Yeah. No, I
So
understand.
I just wanted my head to be free. So I switched to using this.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a little scared with this because we've got two cats in the house here and they scream sometimes and I know I'm easily distracted. I'm like, no, let me pop these on for this one.
There you go. There you go. Last one of this section, and then we'll be at the filmmaking deep dive because I want to know more about your films. And I actually watched one of them that you posted the other day. Do you approach drone photography differently than traditional photography?
I would say, yeah, definitely, but also technically not really. So I think the technical circumstances, very much so kind of keeping the same mindset. You want to use rule of thirds. You want to make sure that your exposure is correct. You want to make sure that you're using a shutter speed that's going to satisfy what you're looking for. So like all the technical aspects of it transition very much similarly, but it seems subject wise, obviously it's a little bit different. So, I will say I don't actively put my drone up in the air to capture much if it's not for like paid work and it's not for films, because for me, I don't tend to love landscape as much. It's just not where I'm particularly at. I actually do really enjoy it. I just don't find myself maybe just taking the darn time to do it. But I don't really do a lot with the drone that isn't paid work or for film, to be honest. So I would say, yes, subject wise, yeah, it's a lot different. Technically, no, I'm pretty much applying it the same way.
So pretty much, if there's something going on, then I won't use the drone at all. But you want to be like more hands-on on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
mostly, because I know
Mm-hmm.
because I know there's a lot of places the drone can't. They can't go inside buildings. They can't,
They
you
can. They
know.
do have drones. They're FPV drones, and they're so tiny, and you have to put these little like VR goggles on. And
Oh, okay.
we also use this for work. A few friends of mine have FPV drones, and I mean, granted, I would be crashing those things into every wall. I cannot say that I have the eye-hand coordination for all that, but they do have little mini drones that can go inside, which is really cool. I've seen people do it for like events. I actually went to like an underground concert in Atlanta, and I was like, shoot, I should have put my drone up so that I could kind of get the crowd, but people fly them inside. But yes, the airspaces is really where most people come into concern with it. Obviously here in Savannah, we have the military base, and that kind of becomes a bit challenging. You have to get certain waivers from the FAA and stuff, but
Sweet. I think that's pretty amazing. That's nice. All right, we're out of this session. We're at session 3. We're almost done here, so we're
Yeah.
halfway done. So, filmmaking deep dive. Now, take us back. What was the seed of the idea for Take My Hand and for Apricity? If I said that correct, Apricity.
Oh,
Um,
Apricity, Apricity. Yeah, yeah.
Apricity. I'm sorry.
No,
What
understood.
what were you trying to say emotionally or thematically with each film, and did that intent shape your choices on set?
Okay, so we'll start with Apricity. So Apricity was a friend of mine in college, Nancy Sheehan. She's extremely talented, and she was the writer director for a senior thesis film. And I had been friends with her through school, and she requested that I capture behind the scenes content for that. So that was more. That was not really a film for me as much as it was a way to showcase the hard work and effort that I had watched her put in for quite a while, and wanting to support her because at the time I wasn't really in film, but she's graduated last year in the film department. And so no real theme to that other than let's showcase this massive crew's hard work. That final film is now in festivals, and that was if you have the opportunity to look it up, everybody should. It's a really, really wonderful timepiece. And it's fabulous. So that was less of film for me. I would say the only two so far that I have really showcased online, I did a visualizer for a Noah Khan song. Kahan. I don't know how to say his last name. That's bad. But I did a visualizer for that, and that was just for a quick videography class in my photo department. And that was more, I wanted to visually showcase the emotion of the song. Now, Take My Hand, that one, that's more thematic, and that's definitely more personal for me. I just recently went through a bit of a heartbreak and like a bit of a breakup. And, obviously my roommate has been a massive, massive help to me in kind of navigating that. And, I think just us as women, like we could attest to saying like, yeah, we've experienced that before. And I was tasked with creating something that had no lyrics and no dialogue that was going to showcase an emotion. And, that was the most prominent emotion of my last few months. So, and I would say like just in general, like grief, I guess I can't really say like heartbreak necessarily over just an individual, but like, I think as people, we have the tendency to feel grief more frequently in so many things. And it's not just relationships, like, grieving your old life, grieving your old friends, grieving your old environments or your own, anything. It could be, I'm seeing lines on my face and, things are challenging. So I think it's more of a testament to grief than just heartbreak. I think it's showcased more in the sense of heartbreak because visually it makes the most sense. But I think for me personally, it was more to say, my community, when I was dealing with challenging circumstances, whether it is something we'll say as minute as a heartbreak versus maybe much larger kind of life experiences, it was a way to say, hey, like you're the community, and having good friends and showing up for people can really pull people out of a dark place in their life. And I've had a few of them myself. I've had some challenging circumstances in my young adult and adult life that have really, really wrecked me. And if I didn't have the friends that I did to come and give me a hand to kind of pull myself out of that, I absolutely would not be where I'm at now. And, I think this was a really fun project for us to do together. And, this is the first time I've been able to showcase my skills as a storyteller. I did just recently do a much larger film in March called Blind Date, and it's a testament to the dangers of online dating. So that's something that will be coming out hopefully by the end of the year. But I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I really enjoyed Take My Hand, and it was something really special to me and definitely the girls that were involved with me. So.
That's nice. One thing I will say, and I agree with everything. One thing I will say is how some people will take tragedies or life experiences and just put these in films and make them explain like I've been through a tragic scenario. Like, how can I bring that into these films? I know there's a lot of people who do these sort of films and tell like their backstory of how a loved one passed away. And I want to bring
Mhm.
it into this film, talk about I meet my mom for the first time because I never seen her before when I was young. And it's really like very nice, sweet, and heartwarming that people like you, Gianna, are trying to bring all these emotions into the art that you do.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking forward to as well, because that's something like I did use photography as my creative outlet when I was dealing with certain things. But I think now what's such a privilege is I have a lot to say in the sense of I've had a lot of experiences in 24 years of living. Like I've had a lot of pretty extreme circumstances and things that have been challenging to me. Not to say that I'm, any different than anybody else. We all have, but I think it's been a privilege to have the gift to be able to showcase and talk about that, because we never know who it's going to touch. And I think that's the thing for me. The arts, films, music, reading, those were the things that made me feel like, oh, this is not a sole experience for me. And obviously now with the integration of online, we've seen influencers and YouTubers and whatnot and come about. And that is also a really special thing. And that's why things like this are so exciting, because I know it's another opportunity to maybe find a connection or have somebody say, hey, like, I understand exactly what that is. Or like, hey, I really, oh, I've gone through something like that. I think connection is something so lacking today. And I think we can connect so closely to our humanity through the arts. And I think it's a really necessary part of today societally, especially when we see connection lacking so little. And we see, emotionally, I feel like people are very suppressed in a way. So I think this is a really beautiful way to kind of incorporate that, touch people's emotions, and kind of bring about more of that again, because it's a challenging landscape right now. And I think artists, we have a privilege and a responsibility to make sure that people are finding connection to their humanity in a world that feels like we're not made to be.
Yeah, and I just, and to be honest, I realized, lately since I graduated and now I was trying to find jobs, my folks are just concerned that I'm not like going out and just talking to people. So I just realized, maybe I need to work on talking to more individuals, because there's a bunch of group of people. I didn't expect to make so many connections over the last 4 months. Like
Mhm.
so far, I have so many people like who are following me on Instagram because they like the conversations I've been having with you guys. I'm
Mhm.
trying to like go beyond just stuff that what I'm into, understand what they went through in life. Like it's not all about me, it's about everybody.
Mhm.
Like sometimes it's always about me talking to the individual, but that's not what I'm trying to make this about, because I want everybody to share their stories on my platform so people can watch and be like, I understand what I have to do, the successes, the failures, setbacks,
Mhm.
pushing forward. How is this going to impact the person who's watching this right now?
Mhm. Yeah, which is such a privilege. So thank you again for letting me share mine. It's sometimes a little bit surreal to even have the opportunity in circumstances like this, because I've been on a podcast before and I have had articles, you know, asking kind of the same thing, and it's like it's kind of otherworldly, you know what I mean? And it is a responsibility and a privilege all at the same time. So yeah, I really appreciate you extending the ability for me to do it.
Yeah. And again, I just want to pick your brains. Just understand, like, how did y'all get to where you guys are today?
Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Number 12. Can you walk me through pre-productions? How were the directors, producers, cast chosen? What was your role in that process, and how did working with the SCAD ecosystem, locations, backlog, student crew, affect logistics and creative collaboration?
Absolutely. That's a really fabulous, multifaceted question. So I may have to have you repeat it one more time, but I'm going to do my best to just kind of get
I
that.
understand.
So,
Yeah, of
so,
course.
so again, I'm not a film major, so I don't want to speak too far off of this because, I have a good understanding, but I'm certainly not, this is certainly not, well, say my strong suit. I'm definitely actively learning. But last quarter, I took my very first film class, and I had the opportunity to be involved with a lot of alumni through mutual connections. And, I really got like dropped in the deep end of the production. And I've seen it, just because my friends were in film, but I myself have never been in it. So I, as far as the process goes, I was the writer, director, and editor of that film at that time. This is not one that I actively have showcased online. It's not released yet. It's still in post-production, actually. But um, Yeah, it was overwhelming to be honest, but we also kind of took a little bit more off than we could chew, but we made it happen. We ended up having a 30-person crew, which is like unprecedented for a film 100. Honestly, I don't really know why, but my producer was very excited, I think, about the opportunity. So, my producer and I worked closely to kind of organize, we organized the team of people. So, me as the writer director, I'm kind of in charge of, keeping the story, if you will, because obviously I wrote it. And then when I direct it, I want to make sure that we're kind of showcasing it the way that it's close to the script. Producers are the ones that are kind of organizing everybody and getting everybody onboarded. And they're kind of more like in an admin, kind of position. And then obviously you have your production crew, your sound crew, your actors and cast. So I was closely involved with all of it. I can't say all of it was my responsibility, but I can say that I pretty much had my foot in the water in each and every single department, and I organized a lot of the facets and aspects of getting it done. And then repeat the last part of your question.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. What did I stop at? What's your running process? How did working within the SCAD ecosystem, locations, backlot, student crew affect logistics and creative collaboration?
Understood. Okay, so yeah, definitely. For this particular class, logistically, we were only allowed to film in this one location. We had a film crew and a production company outside of SCAD come in and actually build a pre-made set inside of one of our classrooms, and so we were required to do that on this one, in this one environment. We were one of the first films to film outside of that production company. My film was the first one to film in the space. And, so I didn't have a lot of time and flexibility. We were also only allowed 4 hours to film it because we had other students that needed to go back to back. So we were like in crunch time to get it done. But we pulled it off, hiccup after hiccup, we pulled it off. We had a breaker blow, and like all the lights went out and everything kind of went a little bit chaotic, but we made it happen. And I think as far as the SCAD kind of environment with it, SCAD offers SCAD's ecosystem in film is the reason I'm so attracted to it, is because this is something that they're investing a lot of money into, like you said, the backlots and stuff. And, as I continue to work in this department, even just as a director of photography rather than like a writer director, which has been fun, but I don't really foresee myself maybe taking that avenue. I would really love to be behind the camera visually. That's like what my interest is. So, you know, I think the school has done a really wonderful job at giving us so many so many different access points to these things in film, and the nature of that department is so collaborative, where I didn't see as much of that in maybe my photo department. So it's been a challenge, but we have like a mixer coming up on Friday on the back lot, and where we have the opportunity to meet all these people in these different departments and whatnot. So it definitely was a challenge to get adjusted to, because I went from doing everything alone, like really doing everything alone. There wasn't as much opportunity for collaboration in photo to, oh no, like you can't do this without 10, 15, 20 people, like, and a lot of communication and collaboration. So yeah, it's definitely been a bit of a jump, but it's been enjoyable.
I can tell. I know you have a lot to deal with on your plate, but I know that the process takes time. Like, how can I word this right? Sometimes it's just you just need to know that hey, this film requires time. It's a masterpiece. Like, you can't rush a masterpiece. You got to make sure that it's to the extent where people can say this thing was truly done perfectly. It's like you're trying to sculpture a statue. You want to make sure you break down each and every section. Don't rush for the sections, otherwise it's not gonna come out as perfect, and nobody's gonna like the art of it.
I
So
have to agree. So I had a little bit of issues in post-production. A lot of my team was alumni and professionals, and there was other productions going on that kind of just took the forefront, and we had people dropping the project and just social things kind of getting involved, and so I was like, oh no, it's like, oh, we're supposed to have this done by summer, and I'm like, but it's not done. Like, it's not done. I knew I needed, certain things to happen. Like I need to finish the sound design and I need to finish the VFX. And like, I'm very proud of what I was capable of doing and my entire team was capable of doing in the time, like the time span that we made it happen. I don't I don't even know how we pulled it off, to be quite honest, but I had a lot of help and a lot of support. So I'm definitely have to agree. I'm just trying to take my time with it so that it is like everything I want to see it for my own, personal time investment and financial investment and energy investment and everybody else's as well. So yeah, patience is a virtue. And I guess, just trying to take my time with it.
Of course, always take time in the projects that you do. I had to learn that the hard way when I was trying to rush and get stuff done, but I realized it's all about the quality, not the
Mm-hmm.
quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is the quality of this certain project, film, show, or video game, is it of quality that people can enjoy it?
Yes, I have to agree. And that goes for a lot of things too, though. There's a lot of things that it should be quality over quantity.
Yeah. We're getting close to the end of that session, and then we'll be at the conclusion. Okay.
Sounds good.
Um, how did it? Let's see. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong one. From camera lenses, framing, lighting, to color grading and drone shots. I know
Mm.
it's a lot. What specific technical and stylistic decisions did you make to achieve each film's look and why? Were there any experiments, i.e., practical lighting and camera effects, that surprised you?
Wow, these are phenomenal questions, I have to say. These are like absolutely fabulous. So I would say I did not do a lot of, and we'll just speak on Take My Hand because that would just simplify it a little bit.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Going through the process, especially once you have a concept, the first thing is a storyboard. So I'm already envisioning what I want to see in my head. And I think that's kind of like the driving factor to what I'm gonna end up using technically to visually execute it. So for me, I think, well, I use the 24-70 lens and I use a Sony A7 IV as my film camera, and that's what I use for Take My Hand. And then obviously the drone, which is a DJI Mavic Mini Pro 3. And both shoot 4K. They shoot the highest gamma bit that you can, so your color rendering is going to be the highest that you can. It does shoot, I believe it shoots S-Log, but I did not shoot S-Log for that. S-Log is just kind of like that raw footage where you can go in and do more extensive color grading like you would in traditional film. I have not yet adventured to that side of things, so I did not use raw footage in that sense, just because of the time that I knew I was going to have. And I didn't really think it was going to make the world's biggest difference. This isn't something we're going to see go up on a movie, in a movie theater screen. So it was more just to showcase the storytelling and my visual integrity and interests. So, lens choice was easy. I like to use lenses that I can stay close, kind of far away from subjects and have a nice depth of field in the background. Kind of most of my work is pretty traditionally visually encompassed in that kind of manner. So, I just kept, I think I shot everything in the film at like 70mm lens, or like 50 to 70mm lens. Technically I'm also using a gimbal for stabilization and stuff like that. I think, just trying to organize my shots in a way that visually were going to be flattering, but also, you have to think logistically with the time. So my entire film was shot backwards. So, we'd shot over 2 days and we would shoot when the sun was, right at that beautiful golden hour. And, you have to hurry if you're going to get those shots in. So, we would shoot all the daylight scenes there and then we would transition to the rest of the night scenes, even though the film obviously starts at night. And, we kind of do these flashback moments. So, there was a lot of pre-planning and pre-production, like you said, and for the most part, I would say the most challenging thing technically for me was making sure that I was getting visually what I wanted and making it look the way I wanted it to, because that's like my primary, we'll say, strong suit, but also trying to make sure continuity was happening at the same time as making sure the actors are doing what they need to do and things are lining up. So I think pre-production takes up a lot of that. And then in post-production, I would say most of it was just, hey, do we need to reshoot anything? Hey, here's what we need to get tomorrow, and whatnot. I think I hope I'm answering that question to the way that you're
No,
asking
no, no. That that was an amazing answer. I
it.
didn't expect you to give me so much detail. Listen, I want to get as much information out of you when I'm asking these questions.
Yeah,
Because here's the thing, like sometimes I be staying up at night. I do be doing the research and make sure I
yeah.
have my questions ready.
I could
Like if I
tell. I could tell.
like if I need to stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning, I will do that.
Oh my gosh. No.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of like it comes with the job of me doing all these podcast episodes. Listen, I told you once, I do not want to come in here and just be rambling
Yeah.
because it's not, and it's not going to be as good because people don't are not going to see us just talking. They want to at least be embedded and understand what this person's went through, what experiences, what can we learn so we can apply to our everyday lives too.
Yeah.
Because
True.
I want people to have the chance to understand, he came up with some good questions. She's answering what I want them to answer.
Yeah, yeah. And they're just so like there's so much depth to your questions too. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I could go on like a book, like I could write a book about all that. It's like, how do you? Yeah, they're fabulous though. I really appreciate it. Actually, this is some of the best questions that I've been asked like ever. So
Mhm. Definitely. Listen, like I said, every week, if something comes up, if somebody comes up, I have to make sure, if I have to make some edits to the questions too. Because here's the thing, I think what happened before was I wasn't doing a lot of deep dives before.
mhm.
And now talking to you, doing like a deep dive on you, I was like, maybe I need to keep having more deep dive questions. Listen, I'm not perfect. I'm gonna make mistakes on these episodes. That's why I'm learning, okay, what can I learn so I can make sure I do better the next time? Because I have two upcoming ones this weekend. So I want to make
Yeah.
sure I need to do so. I need to go back. If I need to go back and research and just do double checking, okay, let's make some changes to the questions. That way it can be more interesting that way.
Yeah, no, these are fabulous. Yeah, fabulous.
So, but yeah, I'm going off topic. Well, because all the stuff that you done to make sure the film was perfect, you took your time, you understand the theme of it. What's the scenario that we want people to understand from this film? Because I know you said something about because I know in your life you talked about you had a heartbreak, you had a
Yeah.
breakup, and
Yeah.
you wanted to try to tell that in this story a little bit. Because like I said before, most people who write these stories would like to bring some kind of like crazy event that happened in their past as life, like the last week or two, and try to put it in this film and understand, oh, so she kind of went through the same thing. It's basically the same thing like writing a book. You want to, because I know so many people. There was one person I talked to on one of my previous episodes. She said she's writing a book on her successes and her failures. So yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it's not as much that I wanted to tell a story about my own heartbreak in particular because life happens and, I'm young and like things happen and it's not the end of the world first off, but it was just funny how much it felt like it was going to be the end of the world. Just maybe because of so many facets of myself that I had to recognize through that. Um, I think it was actually more about the friends than it was the heartbreak, if that makes sense. So I think for me, it was less about, I think I tried to simplify it because again, we had very little time. I think if you're telling a story, I think it's more exciting when you have a story that makes your audience think, but for the nature of what I was really needing to do in the time frame in which I was doing it, and I just wanted to have the opportunity to try to challenge myself to tell a story. But I think for me, Take My Hand is so much more about community. And I think it's so much more about good friendships. And I think it's so much more about showing up for one another as people. Because I guess if we're really going to like take it to that level, even in relationships, people have a hard time showing up for one another. And this life is very challenging. And like, there's a lot of things today that make it very challenging to show up for not only other people, but ourselves. We are just in a very challenging environment. Economically, politically, worldwide, like there's just kind of chaos, and obviously technology playing a huge role in our social spectrum. I think having good community and having those people that you hold close to you that genuinely care about you and are willing to take the time to say, I know you're going through something, whatever it is, if it's a heartbreak, if you've lost a family member, if, you just recently moved and you don't have, access to all these things that are now normal to you, which are all things that I've experienced. If I did not have the people that I did through those experiences, I don't know that I would have made it through half of it, if not all of it. So, I think it's important to, it could even be a testament to mental health, especially some of the shots of her in the water. It's like we've all had those low periods where we feel like we're just drowning in it. And just the people that are around you that help you kind of come out of it, I think is more of a testament to the film than just maybe this most simple kind of surface level message, which is obviously, you go through a heartbreak, you get over it. I think it's much more about the way that we have to utilize, our friends and family and our communities in order to help, keep us afloat through the hard things, because life is not easy for anybody, and it's very different circumstances for very many different reasons, and people feel it to different depths. But I think making sure that you have the right people around you is the most important thing. So
you gotta make sure you have those certain people, because sometimes, and listen, there are bad people in this world. There
mhm.
are. You just need to make sure you know who you can talk to, who you can trust, because sometimes people hide who they truly are until it's too late. So
Yeah.
you just gotta keep that in mind. But I think it's nice that you are having all these kind of support systems. I have a support system. I mean, you guys are not just agreeing just to come on here and talk to me. Y'all agreeing because because I want to understand you guys. Because usually I wouldn't I would just bring someone, we're just talking, but it's actually more in depth. There's
Mhm.
more to me than just talking to you guys, because y'all do a lot of cool stuff, but I want to understand your certain life experiences
Yeah.
and understand. And I'm doing the same thing with other people. I'm doing the same thing with tattoo artists, cosplayers, voice actors, maybe more professional business people at some point. But yeah, I just want to talk to y'all. That's all.
Yeah, and I think you have really great insights on a lot of things, and obviously you're very obviously having all these conversations with different people, you get to see kind of the same, maybe some of the same things kind of flow between all of us, not just as creatives, but just in your, even for yourself. It's like, I'm sure there are things that you can also attest to in those values through your own experiences. And I mean, we all can. So I think it's a really wonderful thing that you're doing. And I have to say, I'm a people person myself. And I think it's a really good way to learn about yourself, is to ask questions about other people, to be honest. So I think it's a really great thing.
Thanks.
Of
That's
course,
such my
of
heart
course,
here.
of course, of course.
Yeah. I know we talked a lot in that section, but it's good that we are. 14. How did editing, pacing, and sound design shape the final narrative? Did you compose or source music specifically for these projects? And can you describe a moment where sound or editing changed the emotional tone of a scene?
Absolutely. Sound design. I've spent the last year working closely with a sound designer here at school, and getting to learn a lot. I mean, a few sound designers here, and mixers and whatnot. And sound plays such a implement. It's such a prevalent role into a film. And I genuinely yeah, we have silent films, and visually, that's my talent, but there's no way that I could express things the way that I do, and I feel like touch an audience if you didn't have sound design. So again, just referencing Take My Hand in particular, I did all the sound design for that. Thankful to the people who gave me the opportunity and taught me how to be able to do it. But I did not compose. I do have a composer working on my other short film, Blind Date, and we're kind of doing our passes back and forth on that. But yeah, I think sound design completely changes the narrative, and I think it's overlooked, honestly. Again, just spending so much time watching people actually go through and do that process, it is so incredibly overlooked, and it is so tedious. It's so detail oriented, and I have so much respect for people that that go and take the time to do that. Me personally, I did really enjoy it. I don't know that I could see myself even attempting to take on a long film doing all sound design. Composing seems really fun. I've got good friends that do that, and yeah, I think it's just wonderful. Yeah, I think it plays probably one of the most pertinent roles outside of your visuals, to be honest.
That sounds amazing. And, at least you're testing the waters with different kinds of areas, not just the whole photography. You are looking at doing like editing because, it may take you very far into doing something else for somebody else. Like, I do a lot of video editing too, but overall, I've done like interviews, like trying to be like man and woman of many talents. So I
Yeah,
think it's,
yeah,
I think it's good to have that. I mean, I felt hesitant about it at first, but I realized at some point I'm gonna have to do multiple things.
yeah,
It's inevitable. Like now it's because I know now with me doing like media and journalism, I just realized it's a lot of media companies are kind of lenient these days. So now it's like I had to go back into school. It's I'm about to be done with cybersecurity, and I just got one of my certificates this back in May
yeah.
for being certified in PC repair and network technician.
Oh, fabulous.
So
Yeah, listen, there's something so like I said, like I'm forklift certified. Like what the heck? You know what I mean? Like the life is nuts. I think for me personally, I call myself the jack of all trades, master of none. I don't necessarily, I mean, they tell us we have to niche. That's so boring. I don't want to niche into something. I enjoy what I do because it's something that kind of is continuously evolving with me as a person. And so I've gained a whole bunch of skill sets in that. Maybe it's the ADHD. I'm really not sure, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I make music. I, can play instruments and I like recording stuff. And so, implementing music and sound, that's applicable. My ear for that is now applicable to if I want to help somebody compose something for my film and where I want certain sound elements to kind of push that because I was in band when I was in high school and stuff. So, that's just one facet of it. And like you said, editing, yeah, I might be the one behind the camera, but if I am, if I'm somebody that doesn't understand how to now put that together in a certain way, maybe my vision's not going to come to life or, but that's the nice thing too, is again, if you have people, it's nice knowing that I have the understanding of what they're doing in this industry too. Like if I never touch that and I understand what it is to do that, I can't really help to direct people or understand and respect what it is that they do. And that was something in sound that I watched, just having different people in my life at the time that were working on that. I don't think that people had the respect of what they were actually doing because they've never sat in a room and watched them do it and see the time and the effort and the energy that it takes. And I think for a lot of us, me and you, even with these podcasts, it's got to take exponential amounts of time to come up with your questions and then sit down and actually have the conversations and then go and do your post-production and do all your advertising. And, I think when you are somebody that's a jack of all trades and you've gotten to put your toes in the water and all these different things, it allows you to foster a more respectful, relationship with the people that you're working and collaborating with, even if you're not the one doing it. I might not be the editor for another film I do, but I do understand what goes on for them. So I'm going to now have more empathy and consideration to their time and what they're doing. And I just think it fosters a better relationship in the creative industries anyways. So I think it's good that you are trying all these different things and you have all these different skill sets because I definitely think it's beneficial.
yeah, it's very much near me. I didn't like it at first, but I understand this is something that I have to have. I know
Mhm.
because never know down the line someone might need help with PC repairs. My grandparents call me to come fix their TV, and I
Yeah.
and I and I fix it. It's back to normal.
Yeah. Let's go.
So
Well, I know who to call if my TV ever breaks then.
so yeah, so and now what and I'm probably going to get more certificates right before Christmas. So this my last semester. I'm in graduate school, so this is my last semester
Oh
trying to
my
get this
gosh.
thing up.
Oh my gosh.
So
Well, congratulations.
I've been here since 20 been in Savannah Tech since Savannah. I think you know about Savannah Tech. It's like
Mhm.
right down the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah. I know
Yeah,
friends that graduated from.
yeah, been there since 2024. So very nice
Mhm.
people. I got some good connections. So yeah, I just thought maybe I might need to go back to school and just make sure I have something extra because I do like computers. I like playing around with technology, playing games and everything. Just I just want to make sure I know how it works. So if someone needs help with a network, so I could try to reboot it or PC repair or like help with like any like computer situations, I'll know what to do. Still have a lot to learn after I leave. I'm not going to learn it right off the bat. So,
Yeah. No, I understand.
so last question, and then we'll be at the finale here.
Alrighty.
Um, you premiered on YouTube and shared behind the scenes, BTS for short. What was your distribution and festival strategy, if any? How did audiences react? Unexpected feedback or metrics, and what are three tangible lessons you'll take into your next film?
Oh my gosh, these are so fabulous. Give me 1 second to like culminate in answer. I'm gonna try to be short and sweet because I know we've been here for a while.
That's
So
okay.
I chose to promote this because I knew that I had put in a lot of effort and time, and I knew that as I was going to continue working through my classes this quarter, that my time was going to become more limited. And again, kind of that if I'm not promoting it and nobody's seeing it, the heck am I doing it for? So I wanted to put a little bit more effort and get out of my comfort zone to do a little bit of that. I mean, I don't know about a festival run just because I don't know if this is something that is applicable, but maybe I don't know. I'm a little timid sometimes with kind of stuff like that, but why not? I definitely think Blind Date might be one that I'd want to put into a festival just because I put a lot of time and money in. Whereas this one was just 2 weeks and it was concepted quickly. However, I'm very proud of how it came out visually. So, um, I, I apologize. You're gonna have to repeat the end of that question.
It's okay. I know it was a long one. Again, make sure I come up with some good ones. What are three tangible lessons you'll take into
Oh
your
yes.
next film?
Oh, three tangible lessons I will be taking into my next film is production design. It does not get enough credit and is vitally important. Unfortunately, I had a little mishap where my producer maybe did not communicate who was in charge of my PD team until like very late into the film of my first one in March, and oh my God, did it it costs us big time visually, and it kind of fell through a little, but we're going to work on it with VFX. I think, pay attention to production design. Production design is like your probably number one facet of making sure everything works out. Two, I think the more you do in pre-production, the easier your post-production is going to be. And three, enjoy the process more because the opportunity to work with such talented people, again, we get so caught up in the work and you're so attested to what you want to see. Even for me, like I've never been a director before, and I was so involved in, okay, I want to see these certain visuals. Now granted, we were on an extreme time crunch, but involve yourself with your actors, and as a director, like your only thing should be paying attention to your actors, but just in general, it was so wonderful to have 30 different people that I got to interact with and understand and connect with. And although I was so bogged down with the work, I mean, I was so exhausted and so drained, and that was such a crazy 3 months. I was going to move, and I'm in the middle of midterms and finals and just like crazy life things going on. And I just think enjoying the environment, enjoying the people, and you know it's a privilege to do what we do, and the people are what make it for me. So I think just going into my next one is just, yeah, I mean, it's awesome, and we want to have a good project for everybody's time, but like more so than anything, I want to enjoy working with those people, and I want that to be more of my priority than just getting the work done.
So, while you were talking, I was tearing up a little. I'm already crying here.
Don't cry. No, don't cry. Yeah,
Um,
it's nice to enjoy the people. People are what make life worth living. So take the opportunities we have and enjoy the people.
yeah,
Oh, you're so sweet. My heart is so full.
I know. I'm sorry.
And don't be sorry. You're good.
Uh, I'm sorry. I just can't. I'm just getting emotional here. Sorry. Every time I have these conversations, I try not to. I'm sorry.
You're okay. Are you good?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just trying to pull myself together here.
We'll take a quick commercial break.
Um, I know. I just need a second. Yeah. So yeah, every time I have these conversations, I do get emotional because just real life's, you know, kind of stuff.
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
Sorry.
No need to apologize.
Mm.
You're fine.
I didn't want you to see me like this.
Oh, you're good. Don't worry, we'll do a little commercial break in the middle of the edit.
So that's, but yeah, I'm good now. But yeah, that's really nice. You be able to take whatever lessons you can to go into the next film. That way you'll know exactly this is one people want to understand from from your perspective.
No, I get it.
So yeah, I didn't want you to see me like this.
You're good. Deep
Mhm.
breaths. We'll be all right. We'll make it through.
So um last section, creativity, future, and personal insight. Who are some of your biggest creative inspirations?
Oh my gosh, James Cameron is fabulous. I love Lindsay Adler for a photographer. She's wonderful. She actually came to our school and she did a talk with us, and I think she's just incredible. And as a woman in the industry that was predominantly kind of not maybe catered towards it, it can be a little challenging. And I think she's definitely an inspiration, just her visual integrity, her presence. I love James Cameron because he's just like the most phenomenal storyteller. I also love Christopher Nolan as a director, just fabulous. I think creatively, though, I think I take most of my influence probably from, it's kind of corny to say, but I say nature, but it's like, you know, I think I take more of my creative influence from my personal testaments, my emotions, my environment, my experiences. I would say that probably influences me more. But there's definitely figureheads that I really have passions for. Irving Penn is a really great one for, again, portraiture and such. But yeah, I think creative influence comes from a multitude of things. So
It's nice, and I know and yeah, I know. Oh, someone that I had to like. I know you have like mentors in SCAD as well. Like
mhm.
everybody needs to have a mentor that can help them, gives you like certain aspects of like life and stuff and what you're trying to do. With like you said, photography. You had this person who helped me know what I need to do in order to be
Mhm.
successful.
Mhm. Yeah, we definitely. I would say honestly, my peers are more of my mentors than anything. I mean, my professors, but yeah, I my peers impress me every day, like every single day. So I enjoy seeing what work that they create too.
Um, how do you keep yourself motivated and avoid burnout while balancing school and your business?
Great question. I'm still figuring it out. I would say take rest days. I had classes yesterday and I almost walked out the door to go, and I just looked at myself in my car window and I looked exhausted, and I just said, nope, not today. I'm going to shut my door and I'm going to walk my happy butt right back in my house, and I'm going to just chill today. Even today, like it's just been kind of a little under the weather, and just take rest days, be gentle to yourself, be patient. I think that helps me with the burnout personally, because again, I've had to step away so many times to get to this point. So
Okay. Yeah, like I gotta tell people, it's okay to take a break if you're tired. So don't
yeah,
don't
listen to
don't
your
put your,
body.
yeah. So don't listen. Keep doing what you love, but listen. If you need a rest, please rest.
Mhm.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, 100%,
So,
100%. And also, like we've been saying this, like the theme of this whole thing has been, it's not about the destination. Um, I definitely feel a lot of pressure, I think, to perform in a lot of ways, and reach expectations of others. I mean, I know you were kind of talking about your family, and a lot of us have family pressures. I think again, we're in an unprecedented economy for jobs, especially in creative industries and whatnot. And I think at the end of the day, you have to attest to your values, what you enjoy, yourself. I mean, obviously take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying just, pack up and say, I'm done for, 6 months and do nothing. But, I think there is a fine balance, and it's easy to fall off of that. So I think, at the end of the day, it's more about your expectations of yourself and what you want to see for yourself. As long as, again, you're creating sustainability for yourself and you know, and you're creating a feasible lifestyle. Like for me, I know that if I'm not working a lot of clients and I'm not doing anything like that, I might have to go get a second job. I might have to go serve. I might have to go do bar backing. I might have to, work in a different industry and take a second so that I can make sure that I'm paying my bills. But that's the whole thing, is like, that is where, I get that breath from what I'm doing, and I have so much passion. I care so much about this, and I've done that so many times in order to get here, and I'll do it so many more times to continue to be where I'm at. So I think that's another big thing too, is like, don't, it's okay if it's not working right this second. It's okay if it's not sustaining your income full time. It's okay if this is something that you're doing. It's kind of like, what's your the 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5, right? I mean, today that's kind of what it is. So I think, give yourself breaths and make sure that you're well taken care of, and, make sure your survivability is there first. And then, then you can continue to come back and go back at your creative passions and whatnot. So yeah.
True that. What's one misconception people have about working as a photographer or creative?
Oh, that it's like a fairy tale. Oh my God, you just take pictures? I'm like, oh, if only it was that simple. Because I'm also, I'm also a marketer and a website developer and a business owner, and I'm doing all these other things in order to make it feasible for me. I'm doing these kinds of things where I'm taking time to have conversations and market for myself. And I think the biggest misconception in this is as simple as taking a picture, right? Which you would think is just, oh, I have my iPhone, let me just click, and it makes it, and it is the truth. I mean, that makes a very pretty picture, and it's a great way to document. But there's so many facets about what I do in the background. I think it's a misconception that it's an easy industry, or maybe it's a cop-out kind of industry, and it's definitely not. It's definitely something that requires a lot of time, patience, effort, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it's hard. Like, you deal with really challenging people or circumstances, equipment breaks, and it's expensive to replace this stuff, very expensive to replace this stuff. And again, I don't have a secure income. Like, my income is not stable. So I'm taking a massive risk by doing this, and I've done everything I can to set myself up for success with it. But it is risky to be doing this as my career. This is not something I can guarantee as a stable, this is my yearly income, this is my monthly income. It's like, I might not get a shoot for 2 months, but then I might get a shoot that could be $30,000 because I'm shooting a resort in the Bahamas. It's like, it just depends on what kind of industry you're in. I could be doing a $200 session for a family portrait. It's just it's so kind of all over the place. And I think, there's that misconception that it's, just all sunshine and rainbows. It's definitely not.
Definitely. We're going to have like those good days and bad days,
Mm-hmm.
Definitely count the bad days, but it's going through life is not just remembering the good stuff. It's all about remembering the bad stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want it to be all sunshine and rainbows. It's like, you don't appreciate the good days if you don't have bad days. So I've had a lot more bad days in this industry than good, but I'm gonna tell you, the good ones override every single one that was not so good. So,
Last question, and then we'll be done. Where do you see yourself in your career in the next 5 years?
oh my God, this is the dreaded question, right? If I could, I think I would like to see myself. Oh my gosh, this is so challenging. I'm actually going to take a second. I'm really going to think about this because this is important. And it's something I've been considering for a while. And I think for me, I don't have a particular achievement in mind, because it is an achievement that I have allowed myself the opportunity and worked for the opportunity to be where I'm at right now. That's my achievement. I've achieved that. And I think, similar to what we were explaining about, it's not so much about the destination, it's about the journey. I think for me, it's good to have goals. But I don't want to set something unachievable for myself. I could say, I would love to be this cinematographer for a Netflix show in 5 years, and that would be totally true. Do I foresee me doing that in 5 years? Probably not. I think just continuing to do what I love, continuing to have the opportunity to meet the people I have. I would love to see more of the world if I have, the opportunity to travel. I think that would be fabulous. And if I have the opportunity to continue to tell my story, connect with others, and, I'm more excited about what I'm going to have over the next 5 years rather than where I'm going to be at, if that makes sense.
It does. And listen, I do believe that you will go to these other countries because, like I said, there's whole other places because I know you don't want to be in the US forever. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to try to go out to different countries like myself. I'm trying to go to Choyo, Japan next year.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
So,
how cool.
yes. And then, I want to check out Paris, Singapore,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. I
So,
want to
yeah, I
see the
just,
world. I do want to see the world, not from my phone screen. I want to see it with my own eyes.
oh,
I want to go to Europe really bad. I mean, I've learned a lot about it in art history here. And oh my gosh, it's just how
yeah.
fabulous.
Back then I kind of felt really bad that I didn't do any study abroad programs, but I'm guessing now I guess I can just go ahead and just plan out my schedule and just save up
Yeah.
money and just go by myself and don't have
Yeah.
to wait.
Yeah. No, don't wait. Just, when you get the opportunity, this, and that's my thing too. Like, you only live once. And again, making responsible financial decisions. I mean, I would rather spend my money on an experience than things personally. So if I have the money, I'm going. I'm going.
Gotcha. Well, I think that wraps up our time here. Sorry about my little emotional, performance from earlier.
No, no need to apologize. I mean, I get it. I do.
I just couldn't hold back, the tears. I just had to let it out because this is more than just a podcast. This is like more like connections with other people and like life lessons kind of stuff too. I'm not just speaking to like all kind of artists. We have our own emotional moments too.
Human to
I just
human.
I just didn't think it would be I would be the first one to do it since this is my own show.
I understand. I do. I understand. Well, I'm glad I'm glad, you're able to work through.
Mhm. So really nice. And sometimes I just forget it's okay to cry too.
It is. It is. I will say, honestly, I was somebody for a very long time. I'm very private about my emotions. My best friend of 14 years didn't see me cry for a very long time. And I had some, pretty intense things that probably would have validated it. And I was just so uncomfortable by sharing my vulnerability with people. And it's still something I'm working on, is sharing my vulnerability. So I actually have to say it's pretty courageous of you to be so open and vulnerable and sharing that, because we all have things going on. We all have very we all have very large feelings, and I think, again, the ability to be vulnerable and showcase those, and I think it helps people a lot, so I have to commend you for it, for sure.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Of all the podcasts I've done, you're like the very nicest person I've done.
Thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I love people too. I love genuine human connection, and it's always a privilege to be able to do that with people. So
Well, you heard it from here. Make sure you go check out her work. It's Gianna Russo's photography. She has done amazing work. Very amazing person. So make sure you go check it out. And again, I want to say thank you for coming on here.
Oh, of course, all the pleasure is mine. Thank you for letting me yap about, my niche interest and getting all nerdy about it. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me today and giving me a platform to be able to talk more about it. And I'm wishing you all the best luck in your graduate program, and I'm super excited to see how this is growing for you too. It's always wonderful to see people pursue their passions, and it's always super exciting for me to kind of even get to say I was a part of that. So yeah, thank you so much. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Sure thing. You enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Thank you. You too.